Imagine this, you're on a luxurious cruise ship, enjoying a gourmet dinner. Suddenly, you feel a violent shudder. The lights flicker and die. Plates and glasses crash to the floor. Outside your window, the beautiful Italian coastline is tilting at a terrifying angle. This isn't a scene from a disaster movie. This was the reality for over 4,000 people aboard the Costa Concordia on the night of January 13, 2012. The ship, a floating paradise almost twice the size of the Titanic, was sailing near the island of Giglio. The captain, Francesco Schettino, decided to perform a sail-past salute, a risky maneuver to bring the massive vessel dangerously close to the shore. He wanted to impress a friend on the island, but this act of vanity would lead to one of the most infamous maritime disasters of the 21st century. What went wrong? It was a fatal combination of human error and sheer arrogance. Captain Schettino steered the 114,000-ton ship into a well-known reef. The impact tore a 50-meter gash in the hull, like a can opener slicing through metal. Water began flooding the engine rooms immediately, crippling the ship's power and steering systems. Chaos erupted. For a crucial 45 minutes, the crew and captain downplayed the severity of the situation. Passengers were told it was just a simple electrical blackout, but as the ship listed more and more, panic set in. The order to abandon ship came far too late, over an hour after the collision. This delay turned a difficult situation into a deadly one. The evacuation was a nightmare. Because the ship was listing so heavily, many lifeboats on one side were unusable. People were scrambling in the dark, trying to navigate tilted hallways and decks. Some brave crew members, like the ship's purser Manrico Giampedrone, went back to help passengers, even with a broken leg. Others, however, followed their captain's lead. And what was the captain doing? In the most critical moment, Francesco Schettino abandoned his ship. While hundreds of passengers were still trapped on board, he was already in a lifeboat heading for the shore. There's a famous, chilling recording of a Coast Guard official, Gregorio De Falco, ordering Schettino to get back on board. For God's sake, Schettino made excuses, claiming he had tripped into the lifeboat. His actions were a shocking dereliction of the most fundamental maritime law. The captain goes down with the ship, or at the very least, is the last one to leave. As the Costa Concordia slowly rolled onto its side, resting on the seabed just meters from the shore, a massive rescue operation was underway. Coast Guard, helicopters, airlifted survivors from the deck. Local islanders from Giglio opened their homes, churches, and schools, providing food, blankets, and comfort to thousands of traumatized survivors who came ashore with nothing. Their warmth and generosity were a beacon of light in a very dark night. In the end, 32 people lost their lives. 2 more were never found. The disaster wasn't caused by an iceberg or a storm, but by a captain's ego and a shocking failure of leadership. Francesco Schettino, dubbed Captain Coward by the press, was eventually sentenced to 16 years in prison for manslaughter and abandoning his ship. But the story doesn't end there. The wreck of the Costa Concordia became a haunting landmark for over 2 years. The salvage operation was the largest and most expensive in history, a monumental feat of engineering, in an incredibly complex process called parbuckling. Giant cables and buoyancy tanks were used to slowly rotate the massive ship upright and refloat it. Finally, in 2014, the ghost ship was towed to Genoa for scrapping, a final, somber journey. The Costa Concordia disaster served as a brutal wake-up call for the entire cruise industry. It led to stricter safety regulations, including mandatory lifeboat drills before a ship even leaves port, and better voyage planning to prevent risky maneuvers, like the sail-past salute. So, when we look back at the tilted silhouette of that once magnificent ship, it's a powerful reminder. A reminder of how quickly luxury can turn to terror, how human arrogance can have devastating consequences, and how in the face of disaster we see both the worst of human failure and the very best of human courage and kindness. What do you think? Could a disaster like this happen again today? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story interesting, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into major events. Stay safe out there.